My wife slept with my brother while I planned our future. In court they smirked, until my proof exposed it all and left them speechless. When I exposed their calculated affair with damning proof, their smug facade shattered and I reclaimed my life in a blaze of truth. Stay with me for a heart-wrenching, explosive tale of deception, betrayal, and a comeback that will grip you until the end. I'm a 35-year-old male, and Claire, a 34-year-old female, were what everyone called the perfect couple. You know the type. College sweethearts, dated for 5 years, married for 4, had our whole lives planned out and everything. I'm a software developer, and she works, or worked, I guess, in marketing. We had this nice house in one of those cookie-cutter suburbs where all the houses look the same but everyone pretends they're special. We even had the whole white picket fence life going. 2 dogs, Rusty and Luna, both rescue mutts because we're those people. A garden she never took care of but insisted on having. And one of those fancy Nordic track machines that ended up being an expensive clothes hanger. I actually met Claire at this super lame sorority mixer in college. I was this awkward computer science major and she was this gorgeous marketing major who was way out of my league. But I was bold enough to try this terrible pickup line about coding and chai lattes, and instead of cringing, she actually laughed. I still don't know if it was a pity laugh, but hey, it worked. We started hanging out and things just clicked. She was into all the nerdy stuff I was into. Later I found out she was faking most of it, but that's a whole other story. We had this thing where we'd binge-watch entire seasons of shows in one weekend. Brooklyn Nine-Nine was our jam. We even did Jake and Amy costumes for Halloween one year. I'd busted my ass in the relationship, not going to lie. I was that guy who remembered not just anniversaries, but random stuff like our first taco date or the first time we went grocery shopping together. But she used to love it. I'd plan these elaborate date nights, surprise her with little gifts for no reason, even learn to cook her favorite sushi from scratch. I spent like 7 hours watching YouTube videos to get it right. The first 2 years of marriage were actually pretty great. We'd cook together on Sundays. Well, I'd cook and she'd supervise while drinking coffee and playing on her phone, but it was our thing. Weekends were for hiking with the dogs or having these epic game nights with our friends. We were that annoying couple that posted everything on Instagram with cheesy captions like, "Living my best life with my person," mostly her posting. But I played along. I even got along great with her family at first. Her dad and I would watch hockey together, even though I don't really care about sports, but you do what you have to do. Her mom was always trying to feed me these amazing Mexican dishes because she thought I was too skinny. Her brother Evan became one of my gaming buddies. We'd play Apex Legends every Tuesday night. My family loved her too. Like, I really loved her. My mom was always saying how she finally had the daughter she always wanted. Sorry, Megan. I guess being my actual sister wasn't enough. My brother Nathan and Claire got along super well. "She's too good for you," he teased, his words haunting me later. We had all these plans, talking about having kids in a couple of years, looking at houses and better school districts, even starting a savings account for our future kids, which thank God that we were doing everything right according to society's little checklist. I remember this one night, maybe 9 months before everything went to hell. We were sitting on our back deck, planning our future, talking about growing old together, traveling once we retired, all that dreamy stuff you think about before life kicks you in the teeth. Man, if I could go back and tell myself what was coming. But yeah, that was the beginning, the calm before the storm, I guess. When you're wearing rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags, right? I saw that quote on Twitter. It's actually pretty fitting. So around year 4 of marriage, things started changing. It was subtle at first. You know how it is. Those little things you notice but try to convince yourself aren't a big deal. Claire started working late, like a lot. And I'm not talking about regular big projects I'm talking about coming home at 11:00 p.m., smelling like she took a bath in someone else's cologne. I should have known something was up when she started dressing up way more for these work events than she ever did for our date nights. Speaking of date nights, those became a joke. We used to have this rule about Saturday being our night. No phones, no work, just us hanging out and doing whatever. But suddenly, every time I planned something, she'd either be too tired or she'd spend the whole time on her phone. I remember this one time I spent like 4 hours cooking this fancy salmon dinner, got the recipe from our cooking, and she barely looked up from her phone the whole time. When I called her out on it, she got all defensive, like, "God, can't I check my work emails? Some of us have important jobs." "You're always so clingy," she snapped, her words cutting deep. "Remember those cute little things we used to do? The random memes we'd send each other all day? The inside jokes, the silly Instagram reels she used to make me do? All gone." She stopped asking about my day, stopped caring if I ate lunch, stopped doing basically anything that showed she gave a crap about me as a person. Even the dogs noticed something was up. Rusty and Luna used to be her babies. She was the one who insisted on adopting them. But suddenly she couldn't be bothered to walk them or play with them. It was always, "I'm too tired," or "You do it. They're your dogs, too." They started getting really mopey when she was around, like they could sense something was wrong. The weird part, she was still totally into family gatherings and stuff, like really into them, always asking when we were going to my parents next, wanting to hang out with my brother Nathan, acting all perfect daughter-in-law in front of my mom. Meanwhile, my sister Megan was giving me these looks like she wanted to tell me something but couldn't. I should have pushed her harder about that, but honestly, I didn't want to know. I'd tried talking to Claire about all this multiple times actually, but every conversation went the same way. One day I sat across from her, feeling the weight in my chest grow heavier. "I feel like we're drifting apart," I said, my voice careful, but the words still felt like they might crack under the pressure. She rolled her eyes, barely glancing up from her phone. "Oh my God, you're so needy. I'm just busy with work," she said, her tone clipped, dismissive, like I was asking for something ridiculous. I swallowed the frustration bubbling up. "I miss spending time together," I said. My words were quieter this time, but I meant them just the same. She sighed, exasperated, like I had asked her to move a mountain. "Not everything is about you. I'm stressed, all right?" I took a slow breath, steadying myself. "Maybe we could try couples therapy, just to—" She scoffed, cutting me off before I could even finish. "We don't need therapy. You need to stop being so insecure." "You're suffocating me," she hissed, her eyes cold. Silence stretched between us. She went back to scrolling on her phone. And me? I just sat there, realizing she wasn't busy. If she just didn't care. I actually started believing maybe I was too needy. I started going to therapy on my own, which actually helped a lot later when everything blew up. What made me madder is that she was still posting all these happy couple pics on Instagram. Like she'd make me take 75 photos for her to get the perfect candid shot of us enjoying life, then go right back to ignoring me. I started noticing other sketchy stuff too. She'd leave the room to take phone calls, change her phone password, start doing her own laundry after years of just mixing all our stuff together, and get a gym membership at some fancy place across town when there was a perfectly good gym 10 minutes from our house. You know, the greatest hits of your spouse is cheating that you read about but think will never happen to you. My friends tried to warn me. My buddy Jake, who'd been through his own divorce hell, kept saying things like, "Bro, something's not right and you deserve better than this." But I'd defend her, make excuses. "She's just stressed about work," or "things will get better once this big project is done." I even tried the whole win her back thing, planned surprise dates, bought her jewelry, tried to get back into the hobby she liked. But you can't win someone back who's already gone. You know, she'd just get annoyed like I was interrupting her life by trying to be her husband. The final straw was one day I was doing laundry on a Saturday because of course I was still doing her laundry like a chump, and I found this receipt in her pants pocket. It was from this fancy Japanese place downtown, like the kind where sushi cost more than my monthly Netflix subscription. The receipt was from a Wednesday lunch, which was weird because she told me she had this big client meeting at the office that day. But something about that receipt bugged me. Maybe because she'd been bragging about bringing in all these new clients, but whenever I asked about getting dinner with them, she'd say it wasn't appropriate, but lunch made sense. So, I did something I'm not proud of. I checked our shared Google timeline thing. You know, that creepy feature that tracks everywhere you go? Yeah, that one. And holy hell, guys, there were a lot of client meetings at hotels, parks, random restaurants, basically everywhere except her actual office. I spent like 4 hours going through her location history. The pattern was pretty clear. Whenever she said she was working late or had team events, she was actually at places like the Ritz-Carlton downtown or this park on the other side of the city. But here's the thing, I still didn't know who she was with, just that she was definitely not where she said she was. Then I found the burner phone. I wasn't even looking for it. I was grabbing her gym bag to do more laundry, and this old Nokia fell out, like one of those ancient ones people keep as backups, except this one had a passcode. When I asked her about it later, she completely freaked out. "Hey, found this old phone in your gym bag. Is it broken or something?" I asked. She barely glanced at it before her eyes widened. Then in a blur, she lunged forward, snatching it from my hands like I was holding classified government secrets. "That's private," she said, her voice sharp, defensive. I blinked. "Private? It's just an old phone." She clutched it to her chest like it was a lifeline, her entire posture rigid. "God, why are you going through my stuff?" "You're pathetic," she spat, her voice venomous. Her voice pitched higher, breath quickening. "This is why I can't trust you." I just stood there staring. I was the untrustworthy one. She couldn't even look me in the eye. She tried to make me feel guilty for finding her sketchy secret phone. But the best part, in her panic to grab the phone, she knocked over her regular Nokia and it fell face up on the couch. A message preview popped up that just said, "Miss you, darling," from a contact named Worktask. I didn't even confront her right away. Instead, I spent the next few days watching her. She'd get these messages and smile like a teenager, then look up to make sure I wasn't watching. She'd take calls in the other room whispering, even though she claimed it was just work stuff. One time I heard her giggle and say, "Stop it, you're wicked," before noticing me and quickly hanging up. I decided to check our credit card statement. Found charges from hotels on days she was supposed to be at client dinners, like not even nice hotels. We're talking Best Western type places, classy. You're a liar, I thought, my heart sinking. That was it for me. I couldn't keep living in this hell, digging after her, seeing signs and forcing myself to ignore them. She had already checked out of this relationship. I was just the last to admit it. I packed all her stuff while she was at work, just filled up garbage bags because I was feeling petty. Didn't even fold anything, left it all in the garage, changed the locks and sent her a text. Found the burner phone. Saw the hotel charges. Don't come home, we're done. The absolute flood of messages I got after that. Holy hell. First it was denial. "What are you talking about? You're being crazy. Let me explain." Then the classic blame shifting. "This is why I had to look elsewhere. If you paid more attention to me, you're always working." Then the threats. "I'll tell everyone you abuse me. You'll regret this. My lawyer will destroy you." Then she showed up at the house crying and banging on the door. She kept screaming about how I was jumping to conclusions and how she could explain everything. "You're ruining everything," she screamed, her voice raw with desperation. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting there on the couch with the dogs, watching her meltdown on our Arlo camera like it's an episode of Real Housewives. The next few days were wild. My phone was blowing up non-stop, not just from Claire, but from basically everyone we knew. She'd apparently gone on this massive PR campaign, telling everyone her version of events. According to her, I was a controlling psycho who misunderstood everything and was throwing away our marriage over nothing. My family kept calling too. Looking back, their reactions were weird, like they were too concerned about me jumping to conclusions. My mom kept saying stuff like, "Marriage takes work and everyone makes mistakes." Even my sister Megan was being super sketchy. Then Sophie showed up at my door. Quick backstory on Sophie. She was Claire's best friend since college. Like maid of honor at our wedding, girls' night every week, knew all our secrets kind of best friend. She was always cool, but we weren't really close or anything. Just the usual hey when she'd come over to hang with Claire. Though anyway, it's like 10:00 p.m. I'm on the couch in my pajamas binge-watching Ozark because why not be depressed while watching a depressing show, and my doorbell rings. I check the Arlo camera, paranoid about Claire showing up again, and there's Sophie, clearly drunk and crying. I sighed and opened the door. You okay?" I asked. Sophie sniffled, wiping at her face with shaky hands. I can't keep lying," she said, her words slurred raw. "She's horrible. You're so nice and she's just horrible. She betrayed you," she sobbed, her voice breaking. She let out a shaky breath, then whispered. "I just had a fight with her," her voice cracked. "A bad one." I stepped aside. "You want to come in? Maybe have some water?" She nodded weakly, stumbling inside. The moment she hit the couch, she collapsed into it like all the fight had drained out of her. And then just like that, the floodgates opened. "She's been cheating for weeks," Sophie whispered, voice thick with guilt. I knew, and I didn't say anything." I stiffened. I knew it. I had suspected it for so long, but hearing it out loud still hit hard. "Who is it?" I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. Sophie shut her eyes and shook her head. "I can't." "Sophie, who?" She opened her mouth, then closed it again. Her entire body was shaking now. "It's worse than you think," she murmured. "You're going to hate everyone when you find out." "It's tearing me apart," she choked out, her eyes pleading. A chill crawled up my spine. My mind was racing, filling in blanks I wasn't sure I wanted answers to, but at this point I had no choice. We talked for hours, not just about Claire, but about everything. Love, mistakes, the slow, painful realization that something is over long before you admit it. For the first time, I really saw Sophie not just as Claire's friend, but as her. The way her dark eyes softened when she spoke, the way she pushed her hair behind her ear when she got nervous. She had this warmth to her, effortless, unforced, the kind I hadn't felt in a long time. "You deserved better," she whispered. I let out a dry laugh. Funny, she never acted like it. Sophie didn't argue. She just looked at me, really looked. And for the first time in years I felt seen. "You're worth more than this," she said softly, her voice steady despite her tears. One thing led to another. And yeah, we kissed. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't about Claire at all. It was warm after years of cold. The next morning was awkward as hell. Sophie was super embarrassed about spilling all that stuff, and I was worried I'd taken advantage of her being drunk, even though she was the one who kissed me first. We agreed to keep everything quiet until the divorce was sorted out, but man, that kiss changed everything. Suddenly, I wasn't just angry about Claire cheating, I was actually excited about the future, like maybe this whole disaster was pushing me towards something better. The next few weeks were a weird dance of secret texts with Sophie, avoiding Claire's constant attempts to explain and dealing with my family's increasingly strange behavior. Everyone seemed to be taking sides, but the sides made no sense. People who should have been on my side were defending Claire, and people I barely knew were reaching out to support me. I hired this badass lawyer named Harold, not his real name, obviously. First meeting with him, I lay out everything I know. The burner phone, the hotel receipts, the Google timeline stuff. He just sits there nodding, taking notes, then looks up and says, "There's more going on here than you know, but we're going to handle this smartly." Harold advised me not to confront anyone yet, just gather evidence, keep my mouth shut, and wait. He said the truth would come out in court anyway, and it would be better if I didn't show my hand early. Meanwhile, Sophie and I kept getting closer. Nothing physical after that first kiss. We both agreed to keep things proper until after the divorce, but we texted for hours. She'd send me funny gifs at 2:00 a.m. or links to songs she thought I'd like. It was nice, just nice. Claire tried every trick in the book to get me to talk to her, showed up at my work, got banned by security, sent flying monkeys, mutual friends to guilt-trip me, even tried to use the dogs against me, suddenly claiming she missed them so much, after barely acknowledging them for weeks. "I need them," she pleaded in a voicemail, her voice fake with tears. The weirdest part was how my family was acting. My mom kept inviting me over for dinner, but would get weird when I asked who else would be there. Nathan, my brother, stopped gaming with me online, but was posting pics at family events I wasn't invited to. Megan was straight up avoiding me. The day before court was straight up chaos. My lawyer Harold called to prep me for what might happen and dropped this bomb. "Just be prepared for anything tomorrow," and I mean anything. When I tried to get more info, he just said, "Trust me, you'll want to be sitting down when this all comes out." I was getting cryptic texts from everyone. My mom sent this weird message. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive. Forgive what? For what? Megan, my sister, tried calling like 8 times but kept hanging up before I could answer. Even my buddy Jake, who hadn't talked to me in days, sent you a "holding up okay, bro?" text at like 1:00 a.m. Sophie was being extra weird too. We'd been texting constantly for weeks, nothing serious, just talking and stuff, but suddenly she got all quiet. Her last message was just, "I'm so sorry. You'll hate me tomorrow, but please remember I wanted to tell you." Then radio silence. I spent that night stress cleaning my apartment. The dogs kept looking at me like, "Dude, chill," but also wouldn't leave my side. We all ended up passing out on the couch watching MasterChef because Gordon Ramsay yelling at people was oddly comforting. Around 2:00 a.m. I got this email from Claire. Subject line, "Please read before tomorrow." Did I open it? Hell no. Archive that faster than my ex could say, "It's not what you think." Then the bomb dropped. A text from my brother Nathan. "Hey man, don't come to court tomorrow. We can settle this without making it messy. I'll explain everything later." You coward, I thought, my blood boiling. I didn't sleep at all that night, just sat there on my couch scrolling through old photos on my phone like an idiot. Found this picture from last Christmas. Me, Claire, my whole family. Everyone was smiling like we didn't have a care in the world. Harold texted me around 7:00 IMM. "Wear your gray suit, look successful but not flashy. And whatever happens in there, do not lose your cool. Let me handle everything." I got to the courthouse early because anxiety is one hell of an alarm clock. Sat in my car for like an hour, watching people go in and out, wondering how many other people's lives were falling apart in there today. Saw Sophie pull up. She looked like she hadn't slept either. We made eye contact, but she just shook her head and went inside. And that's when my stomach really started doing flips. Then my parents showed up together looking stressed. My mom tried to wave, but Dad stopped her. They hurried inside like they were late for something. Megan arrived next, saw my car, and literally ran inside like full-on sprinted in heels. That's when I knew whatever was about to happen was going to be bad. Walking into that courthouse felt like walking to my own execution. But holy hell, I had no idea what was waiting for me inside. So there I am, sitting in this fancy-ass courtroom that looks exactly like the ones you see on TV. Harold, my lawyer, is next to me, going through papers like he's searching for the nuclear codes or something. The room's weirdly quiet. You know that heavy silence right before everything goes to hell? Then the door opens. Claire walked in wearing this innocent ivory dress like she's auditioning for the role of Virgin Mary or something. But that's not what made my jaw drop. She's holding hands with my brother Nathan, like full-on holding hands, in court, in front of everyone. In front of me. You traitors, I thought, my heart pounding. My brain just stopped at that moment. All those weird pieces suddenly clicked. The family is acting strange. Sophie's guilt. Nathan's sudden disappearance from my life. All those client meetings at times when Nathan was supposedly working late too. Harold grabs my arm, because I guess I started standing up without realizing it. He whispers, "Sit down. Let them dig their own grave." Claire and Nathan sit at the other table with their lawyer. Some young dude who looks about as comfortable as a fish out of water. Nathan won't even look in my direction, but Claire keeps giving me these little side eyes like she's checking if I'm about to lose it. The judge comes in, an older dude who looks like he's seen some drama, and the show begins. Claire's lawyer starts spinning this rom-com-worthy tale about how love finds a way and how Claire and Nathan never meant to hurt anyone, but you can't help who you fall in love with. I'm sitting there thinking I'm having a stroke. Like, is this actually happening? Did my brother really just walk into court holding hands with my wife while their lawyer tries to convince everyone this is some beautiful love story? Then it gets better. Claire starts crying full-on tears about how confused and lost she was in our marriage, and how Nathan was just trying to help her through a difficult time. And things just happened. Like what? They just tripped and fell into bed together multiple times at various hotels across town for weeks. But here's the best part. Their lawyer tries to argue that the prenup should be void because of emotional distress and family circumstances. basically trying to say that because Nathan's my brother, all normal rules should go out the window. Harold's just sitting there with this little smile. When it's his turn, he stands up super slowly, straightens his tie, and says, "Your Honor, before we continue, I'd like to present evidence of how this love story actually played out." Then he pulls out this thick folder that I'd never seen before, starts laying out papers one by one, screenshots of their text messages. Turns out that burner phone wasn't so secure. Hotel receipts paid with our joint account, photos of them together from before we separated, bank statements showing Nathan had been helping Claire move money around, a timeline showing they'd been hooking up since freaking Halloween. They planned this, I thought, my rage simmering. The judge's face got stormier with each new piece of evidence, but Harold had emails between them, planning how to break the news after the divorce was final. They had this whole scheme worked out. Wait until the divorce is done, then go public with their relationship like it just happened. Nathan finally looked at me, tries to do this. "I'm sorry, bro." Face, I just stare back until he looks away. "You're no brother of mine," I thought, my resolve hardening. Claire's full-on ugly crying now, mascara everywhere. The judge was not impressed and started asking them really pointed questions about timeline discrepancies, about the money, about their version of events. Every answer just dug them deeper. Then he looks right at them and says, "This court does not look kindly upon deliberate deception. The prenuptial agreement stands." Just like that, all their romantic schemes, all their planning, all their manipulation shot down in like 4 minutes. The court drama was over, but my family apparently didn't get the memo that I wanted nothing to do with them. A week after the hearing, my mom started this massive text campaign to bring the family back together. Like somehow a nice taco night would make me forget my brother was sleeping with my wife. It started with casual texts, "We miss you, honey," then escalation to "Family is forever and we need to move past this." The final straw was when she sent a group text announcing a family dinner that Thursday. Didn't ask if I wanted to come, just said, "Dinner at 6 o'clock, everyone will be there, we're fixing this." I ignored it at first, but then Megan, my sister, called me crying, actually crying. "Please come," she sobbed. "Mom's losing it. She's convinced she can fix everything if we just have dinner together like normal." I laughed. "Megan, what part of this is normal? I know, but maybe we should try for Mom." "Is Nathan coming?" Silence. "Is he bringing Claire?" More silence. Yeah, that's what I thought. But something in me snapped. Maybe it was the tequila I'd been drinking. Maybe it was weeks of pent-up rage. But I decided to go, not to make peace. I wanted to watch them squirm. I showed up exactly on time. Everyone else was already there, sitting in the living room like it was any other Thursday dinner. Nathan and Claire on the love seat, Mom fussing with appetizers, Dad pretending to watch soccer. Megan saw my face and immediately poured me a drink. Mom tried to play hostess. "Honey, we saved your usual seat. My usual seat is right between Nathan and Dad." Yeah, no, I stayed standing. The silence was thick enough to cut with a knife. Then Nathan, this absolute clown, tries to break the ice. "Hey bro, how's work?" I just stared at him like, did this guy really just ask me about work, like he didn't blow up my entire life? "You're a traitor," I said, my voice low but firm. Mom jumped in. "Let's eat. I made your favorite enchiladas." We moved to the dining room. Mom set it up like Thanksgiving. Her best china, fancy napkins, the works. As if good table settings could fix betrayal. Dad tries to say grace. Actually tries to thank God for bringing the family together. I had to bite my tongue to keep from laughing. The first 15 minutes are just the sound of forks scraping plates. Then Mom starts her prepared speech. "We're family. Families forgive. Families heal. What happened was unfortunate, but Nathan and Claire are in love. Real love. Sometimes these things," I cut her off. "These things." What? Mom just happened. Like Nathan accidentally fell on my wife. Language. Dad snaps. The first thing he said all night. "Oh, I'm sorry, is my language offensive? More offensive than my brother screwing my wife? You disgust me," I said, glaring at Nathan. Claire starts crying. Nathan puts his arm around her. I want to throw up in Mom's fancy enchiladas. "They're getting married," Mom announces. Like, this is supposed to make everything better in October. We'd love for you to be there. I actually laugh out loud. Are you insane? Actually insane? It would mean so much to your brother. My brother? I stand up so fast my chair falls over. The same brother who was screwing my wife while I was taking care of Dad during his heart attack scare. Dead silence. Dad didn't know about that part. You were during my heart attack treatment. Dad looks at Nathan like he's seeing him for the first time. Nathan starts stammering. It wasn't. We didn't show them the pictures, I say. Megan looks up. What pictures? I pull out my phone, open the folder Harold gave me, start swiping through security camera stills. Nathan sneaking into my house, and Claire letting him in, timestamps telling the whole story. This one's from when Dad was having his first cardiac rehab session. Remember that, Nathan, when you said you couldn't come to the hospital because of work? You lied to us all, I said, my voice shaking with anger. Mom's crying now. Dad's just staring at his plate. Megan looks like she wants to disappear. And this one. Christmas Eve, when you said you were stuck at the airport. Guess my bed was more comfortable than those airport chairs, huh? Claire runs from the table. Nathan goes after her. Mom's full-on sobbing. Dad finally looks at me. Son, we didn't know. Didn't know or didn't want to know. I stand up, surprisingly calmly. Thanks for dinner, Mom. The enchiladas were great. Don't invite me to the wedding. I walked to the door but turned back, looking at Nathan. Oh, and Nathan, Claire likes to sleep with her ex's brothers. Might want to keep her away from any you've got. The look on his face was better than any revenge I could have planned. I got in my car, drove straight to Sophie's place. I showed up at her door, probably looking like hell, still in my dinner clothes, smelling like Mom's enchiladas and regret. Sophie took one look at me and just got it. Didn't ask questions, didn't try to fix anything, just hugged me tightly, pulled me inside and poured me a drink. We sat on her balcony for hours. She's got this tiny apartment, but the view is incredible. We talked about everything, not just the Claire and Nathan show, but real stuff. Dreams we put on hold, places we want to see. Why do we both hate sardines but keep trying them anyway, hoping our taste buds will change? At some point, Sophie looks at me and says, you know what, the worst part was watching her throw away someone who actually gave a damn. Do you know how rare that is? You're enough, she said. Her words a balm to my wounds. That hit different because, yeah, I did give a damn. Still do, I guess. Not about Claire. She can choke on her wedding cake for all I care, but about doing relationships, right? About being the kind of person who you know. The next few times Sophie and I hung out, we just talked, watched cheesy rom-coms, and took the dogs to this dog park she knew about. Started building something real, without all the drama and lies. It's been 8 months since the court hearing. A lot's changed. Dad actually did leave Mom. Turns out watching your wife defend your cheating son during your heart attack treatment is a pretty solid deal breaker. He's got an apartment across town and started going to therapy. We get coffee sometimes, just us. It's awkward, but we're trying. Megan is talking to me again. She apologized like 100 times for keeping their secret. Said she was scared of breaking up the family. I get it now, even if I don't agree with it. Fear makes people do stupid things. Mom still sends those family-type texts. I deleted them. She tried to tell me Nathan and Claire postponed their wedding in case I changed my mind about attending. I changed my number. The other day I ran into them once at the grocery store. Nathan looked like he wanted to say something. Claire suddenly became very interested in organic mangoes. I just walked past them with my cart, grabbed my stuff and left. Didn't feel anything. That's progress. I think the dogs love Sophie like they love her. Rusty, who usually takes forever to warm up to people, started bringing her his favorite toy the 3rd time she came over. Luna basically lives in her lap whenever she's around. Dogs know good people when they meet them. We made it official last month. Took it slow. Did it right. Our first real date was this hole-in-the-wall pizza place where we both got terribly lost trying to find it and ended up laughing in the rain for like 40 minutes. It was perfect. I also got a promotion at work, moved to a new apartment, one without security cameras and shitty memories, started playing drums again, badly, but Sophie claimed she likes it. The other day I was making dinner and Sophie was sitting on my counter telling me about her day. Rusty and Luna sprawled at her feet, and it hit me. This is what real happiness feels like. Not the Instagram perfect fake Claire and I had, but genuine, messy, beautiful happiness. Do I still get angry sometimes? Yeah. Do I miss my old life? Hell no. Last week, Sophie found an old photo of me and Claire in a drawer, asked if I wanted to throw it out. I looked at it, us smiling at some family thing, Nathan probably taking the picture, and realized I didn't feel any. No anger, no pain, just nothing. Tossed it in the trash and went back to making dinner. Sophie put on some music, the dogs were begging for scraps, just another normal evening. And you know what? I rebuilt my life, but the scars of their betrayal linger. A quiet ache that drives me forward, stronger yet forever changed.